Over 1.5 million Muslim pilgrims have gathered in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, for the start of Hajj, amid Israel's ongoing conflict in Gaza. The annual pilgrimage began on Friday with worshippers circling the Kaaba at Mecca's Grand Mosque. Palestinians in Gaza were unable to attend due to the closure of the Rafah crossing, but 4,200 pilgrims from the West Bank and 1,000 from families affected by the war were invited by Saudi Arabia's King Salman. Saudi Minister Tawfiq Al-Rabi'a warned against political activity during Hajj. This year also marks the return of Syrian pilgrims on direct flights from Damascus after more than a decade, as relations between Saudi Arabia and Syria improve. Saudi authorities expect over 2 million pilgrims this year. The rituals, taking several days, include the tawaf around the Kaaba and a night in tents in Mina. The climax will be prayers on Mount Arafat on Saturday. Hajj, one of the 5 pillars of Islam, is a profound spiritual journey that unites Muslims worldwide and is seen as a time to pray for peace in conflict areas like Yemen and Sudan. Addressing an event in Rawalpindi, Lahore High Court Chief Justice Malik Shehzad Ahmed stated that he has received numerous complaints and letters, many verbal, about interference in judicial matters by various institutions.
वकालत का शोबा इंतहाई काबिल एहतराम शोबा है। वकील का ये काम नहीं कि वो गैर ज़रूरी तौर पे जाके अदालतों को ताला लगाए। अगर कोई शिकायत है तो हमें बताएं। मैंने पहले भी इंतहाई मुद्दबाना तरीके से ये गुजारिश की है कि हम सब के दिल में वकीलों का बड़ा एहतराम है, लेकिन यकीनन कुछ सियासी अनासर होते, उनके लिए मेरे पैगाम है कि अगर ताला लगाने का शौक़ है तो आप हमें दरख्वास्त दें, वकालत छोड़ दें। हम इधर आपको भर्ती करेंगे डिस्ट्रिक्ट जुडिशरी में और फिर शाम को आप चाबियाँ लेके इधर ताले लगाते रहें। ये वकील का काम नहीं कि वो आके ताले लगाए अदालतों के और लड़ाइयाँ करें और जंग करें।
In economic news, Moody's has flagged high debt sustainability risks for Pakistan. The government spends over half its revenue on interest payments, with debt servicing payments increasing by 18% compared to last year. Moody's emphasizes the need for fiscal consolidation and maintaining reforms to ease liquidity risks. Subsidies, particularly in the power sector, have risen by 27%, indicating slow progress in energy sector reforms. Moody's believes the finance bill could support Pakistan's negotiations with the IMF for a new extended fund facility, essential for securing external financing. However, social tensions from high living costs and the coalition government's potential lack of mandate could hinder reform efforts. The government projects a budget deficit reduction to 5.9% of GDP and aims for a primary surplus of 2%. Revenue is expected to increase by 46% through new taxes and nominal growth. The World Bank forecasts growth to pick up to 2.3% in FY25, assuming continued sound economic management and structural reforms. Inflation remains high but has moderated over the past year. Additionally, foreign exchange reserves have increased, reflecting eased currency pressures and official inflows. The Pakistan Stock Exchange experienced significant gains on Friday, with the KSE 100 index rising more than 1,000 points in intraday trade to briefly hit an all-time high of 77,000. The index gained 1,097.12 points, or 1.44%, reaching 77,305.28 at 11:04 a.m. from the previous close of 76,208.16. It eventually closed at 76,706.77, up by 498.61 points, or 0.65%, from the previous close. The head of Kamal Adwan Hospital, Hassam Abu Safiya, reports that Gaza's health system is in dire condition, facing severe medical supply shortages and a lack of fuel. In Gaza, a funeral was held for 14-year-old Mustafa Hijazi, who died due to health complications from malnutrition. In Rafah, Israeli helicopter gunships, drones, and warplanes have launched attacks, while Palestinian fighters engage Israeli troops in street battles. US President Joe Biden has indicated that a Gaza ceasefire is not expected in the near future. Responding to reporters, Biden expressed that while a truce is unlikely soon, he remains hopeful. Hezbollah has launched a significant drone and rocket attack on military bases in northern Israel. In response, Israeli forces carried out a deadly bombing in southern Lebanon, raising fears that border clashes may escalate into full-scale war. At least 37,266 people have been killed and 85,102 wounded since 7th October in Israel's war on Gaza. The situation remains critical as violence continues to escalate. Russian President Vladimir Putin has condemned a Western agreement to provide Ukraine with a loan package using frozen Russian assets, pledging retaliation. Speaking with officials, Putin criticized the asset freezes as theft and warned that anyone could face similar punishment. This follows the Group of Seven's agreement on a $50 billion loan package for Ukraine, using interest from frozen Russian assets. US President Joe Biden called the deal a significant outcome and a reminder to Putin that the West is not backing down. Russia's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova dismissed the agreement as having no legal force. Meanwhile, Putin outlined conditions to end the war in Ukraine, including Ukraine dropping its NATO ambitions and withdrawing from regions claimed by Russia. These conditions were promptly rejected by Ukrainian and US officials. Putin also stated that the world had reached a point of no return, calling for a new global security system and expressing willingness to discuss this with all interested countries, including NATO.